Dear students, I am Archana Dikshit from C.C. Shah Sarvajanik English High School. We had discussed till now the chapter 6, Circulatory System in Human Beings. Now next topic is Transportation in Plants. Here I have taken few points also that you can see on the screen to understand it clearly. We know the differences between plants and animals, and we had discussed earlier also that plants require less energy for their physiological activities because there is no movement on in them except the molecular movement inside the plants. Now one more factor is there that makes them quite different from animals in case of transportation. Plants or trees have a number of dead cells, a large portion of dead cells. Hence, they are very less active. This does not happen in case of animals. Since they are less active, so therefore we also know that carbon dioxide is taken by the plants directly from the air and oxygen is given out for photosynthesis. And also solar energy is stored in the form of chemical energy in chlorophyll containing cells, or you can say chlorophyll containing green leaves. Then water and salts are absorbed from the soil. So just now what we did, carbon dioxide is taken by the plants from the atmosphere and oxygen is given out. Solar energy is stored in the chlorophyll containing cells because chlorophyll plays important role in absorbing solar energy. Then water and salts are obtained from the soil. Now all the soils of the plant, all the cells of the plant obtain carbohydrates from chlorophyll containing cells. Means whole plant will get the food from green leaves only, which contain chlorophyll. Okay. Now transportation in plants is carried out by two types of conducting tissues. Number one, xylem. Number two, phloem. So we will study in detail that how the xylem and phloem carry out the transportation in plants. Number one, first is transportation of water and minerals. For water and minerals, there are xylem tissues. Xylem tissues comprises xylem vessels and tracheids. Both of them are non-living. Thus, what will happen? The cytoplasm dries up and the vessels form long hollow tube-like structure because all the cells become hollow due to absence of cytoplasm in them, and since they are one above the other, so therefore they form the long hollow tube-like structures. But tracheids are long, thin but spindle shaped. They appear to be thin, but actually their wall is very thick, and this wall is having pits. Through these pits only transportation of water takes place. Now one point is to be remembered that xylem vessels are absent in non-flowering plants. That means in gymnosperms they are not found. Angiosperms are flowering plants. So in angiosperm, xylem vessels are present as well as tracheids are present. Tracheids are present in all kinds of plants, whether they are non-flowering or flowering. Now let us see mechanism of transport. Remember that soil and the minerals which remain dissolve in it, or you can say ions. The upward movement of water. In the water, there are minerals and ions dissolved in the soil. So the upward movement of water and minerals from roots to all aerial parts of the plant against gravitational force is called ascent of sap. So you should know what is ascent of sap. Ascent is ASCENT. Sap is here water as well as dissolved minerals which are obtained from the soil. So this way upward movement takes place. This is called ascent of sap. Okay. Now we will see different factors which are responsible for transportation of water and minerals through xylem vessels and tracheids. First factor is concentration difference. You have got the idea of hypotonic solution, hypertonic solution, isotonic solution last year. You have done in standard 9th. So this you have idea that if concentration difference is there, then according to the concentration, type of concentration, the water enters. So you have to remember that between the root cells and the soil, there is concentration difference. So because of the concentration difference, root soils will absorb water as well as ions or mineral ions which remain dissolved in water. This way water will move up because the concentration difference will be created throughout the column of the cells, in which water can move upwards to level the concentration difference, or you can say in the wake of the concentration difference, water moves up in the xylem vessels and tracheids. Another factor is there, that is transpiration. Actually what happens, due to heat, loss of water takes place from aerial parts of the plants. And then what happens, this whole phenomena is called transpiration. Now when the leaves will become deficient in water due to water loss from aerial parts of the plant, then it will give the message to the root cells to absorb more water, because water deficient plant is becoming. This is called transpirational pull. For example, when we do lot of work, we get thirsty, then we drink more water, because when we are doing physical work, through sweating the water is going out. So we become thirsty and we drink more water. Similarly, here due to heat, loss of water takes place from the aerial parts of the plant. Then plant becomes deficient in water, the cells become deficient in water, and then they will absorb more water from the roots. This is also called suction pressure, or it is also called transpirational pull. Okay, when the plants are very small and all the plants are very small, so then simple osmosis can also take place, and from the soil, through the process of osmosis, water and minerals can reach to the plants, to all cells of the plant. Though osmosis is responsible for bigger plants also. So this was about the water and minerals. Second here topic is transport of food takes place in plants. You know that photosynthesis process is possible because of the green leaves or green stem, because they contain chlorophyll in them. Presence of chlorophyll is important, as well as presence of solar energy or sunlight is also important, because sunlight is converted into chemical energy in the form of carbohydrates. It remains in the green leaves. From the green leaves, the food, manufactured food, that is carbohydrates, are supplied to all parts of the plant. And that is done by phloem tissues. This is called translocation of food in plants. Not only carbohydrates, some starch, some amino acids, some plant hormones are also transported from one part to the other part of the plant. Apart from that, these products can also transported to the various storage organs of the roots, fruits, seeds and other organs. You know that some of the stems are there, like potato, it has a stored food. Onion, it is root. Radish, carrot, they are roots, tap roots. Now we will do something more about the phloem. Phloem also comprises of mainly two cells. One is called sieve tubes, the other is companion cell. Now sieve tubes and companion cells are living, while xylem vessels and tracheids were non-living, but here they too are living cells. Sieve tubes are also hollow because cytoplasm becomes inactive, and they get the support from the companion cells which have nucleus and cytoplasm is present in them. So they support the sieve tubes. Sieve tubes are hollow, tubular, and once between one sieve tube, between the one sieve cell the other, there is one horizontal plate, that is called sieve plate. As you can see here, it has pores, it is perforated. Through this only the food can be transferred, and thus food reaches to all parts of the plant, upward, downwards, in all parts of the plant. Remember here one more point, that for such activity energy is required, and that energy is provided to the phloem tissues from the cells where sucrose is present. Generally these are green leaves cells are there. They provide the energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So since this activity happens, so therefore water also move up, because osmotic pressure is created, because some energy will be used up. So when energy is used, then pressure is also created. So due to this osmotic pressure, the water also move up. So this was about the transportation of food. See this sieve tube is this one. This you can see, this is the sieve tube, and here some starch or carbohydrate particles shown. This sieve tube is having sieve plate, this perforated one, through which the carbohydrates can go. Now since in this this cytoplasm is not there, it is hollow, therefore companion cells are there, though both are living. A companion cell is supporting the sieve tube. It has nucleus. This is the nucleus. And it has cytoplasm also. So it is supporting fully the sieve tube. So this was our topic, transportation in plants. And this is over. Now only one topic is left, that is excretory system in human beings. So that we will do in our next session. Okay, children? Okay then, thanks.